Thank you so much. Mr. President, dear William, Your Majesty, Head of States and Governments, Secretary General of Permanent Commission of the African Union, Secretary General of Francophonie, Ministers, Ambassadors, Entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, Asante Sana, Mr. President. And I will switch in French, if you allow me. Le président a tout dit. Et donc, je veux juste rajouter quelques convictions pour qu'ensuite on puisse passer à nos travaux. C'est un nouveau type de sommet, c'est une nouvelle philosophie, et donc nous allons aller au bout de cette philosophie. D'abord, ce sommet a commencé par des rencontres de la jeunesse, des entreprises, de la culture, du sport. Et d'ailleurs, nous allons juste après...
Captains of industry with whom we have to discuss things. But deep down, the conviction that I wanted to share with you is that the agenda that Africa and France need to have, the one that I stand for, must not look backwards, but just look straight ahead. As President Ruto just said, we need to keep our eyes ahead. And what I have been trying to do for 10 years now is to construct a relationship which looks backwards with lucidity, and we've been working with Cameroon, Rwanda, Algeria, and several other nations, and which looks with bravery at the present, looking at our necessity of culture. Looking at co-development and co-investment, and which is built on respect for the fact that Africa has its own agenda. The relations between Africa and France, as we see it, as the way we want to implement, are built on courage, respect, and a will to have a shared agenda. That's what we've been working on for 10 years. We spoke about it yesterday, so I won't go into it now. Why am I so convinced that this is the right way 10 years down the track? Because the challenges of Africa and Europe are shared challenges. We all want peace, prosperity, sovereignty. Europe has always been fighting for this, and after the Second World War, the EU was built on this struggle for peace and sovereignty, and now the European agenda is indeed one built on strategic autonomy, so as not to depend on American or Chinese power, and when we want to defend the rule of law, international law, we believe in equality, in equal footing trade relations. We defend the climate. That is what Europe is all about. And that is the exact same challenge that Africa has before it. What Africa wants is peace, prosperity, and independence. And deep down, this partnership that is embodied here in this Africa Forward Summit is a bond between Africa and Europe. This is what France is working for: peace, prosperity, and this this strategic independence. It's a very powerful thing, and if we can do this, then it will enable us to reconstruct together a multilateral order that has been thrown into upheaval, been jeopardized, affects all of us, and deep down this can be a strong basis for moving forward together. And in terms of peace, I don't want to repeat what President Ruto said. Peace is going to require African unity, and I really firmly believe this, and I'm delighted to see so many of my brothers here, heads of state and government from so many nations who have come to Nairobi. I know that you're all very busy, so I'm very grateful to you for making this, because it really does share this image of a united continent. From Maghreb, right down to the Indian Ocean, the south of the continent, Western Africa, Central Africa, and Eastern Africa. Remember, all of these different parts of Africa, given that it is so large, are all part, nonetheless, of one continent with a shared agenda. Which means that if we want to be beside you, it means we have equal representation, better representation for Africa in international instances such as the UN, the financial institutions, and we want it represented in the Security Council of the UN. As we have also been fighting for Africa to have a permanent seat at the G20. We've been fighting for this for years, and we've now made it a reality. And we are fighting for an agenda, along with the Secretary General. We've been talking about this for an African UN presence, which will be all the better placed to defend its own peace and security operations, particularly through the UN missions. We hope to see all the wherewithal given to Africa to ensure its own sovereign security. The African continent needs better representation, and Africa has the capacity to build on its strengths. So what we stand ready to do is assist you financing that with a reworked security arrangement which is respectful of the sovereignty of each African country, but never eclipsing each nation's sovereignty. And I'm delighted to hear from your introductory remarks a moment ago that we can build together a shared agenda to overcome the peace and security challenges that we face and continue to work together so that the whole of the UN can move forward on a more equitable basis. Prosperity next. With President Ruto, I was discussing this. I think that he is absolutely right when he's talking about the prosperity of the continent. It's clear, it's simple. Now, what I'm offering is not to offer assistance. Those days are behind us. And we know that there are budgetary challenges in some instances, security challenges in others. These are realities that we need to be realistic about, but we need to rethink our North-South relations. And we need to look with lucidity at all of the cross-cutting benefits that Africa can derive from its diaspora. Those who are working very, very hard in many of our countries and send remittances back home are another important lever that we must not overlook. But the main notion I want to focus on is co-investment. What is co-investment able to achieve? It means investing in human capital, the young talents in Africa, in a formal economy. One of the major difficulties here is too much of the African economies that are underneath the tip of the iceberg is informal economy. It's about time we brought them into the value chains and to structure your agricultural sector and your industrial sector in such a way that it will be stronger than ever, so that Africa will no longer be seen as a place for rare earths and other resources to be extracted, but rather to be a partner. So we are working towards a transformation of investment relations, investing in value chains, energy, sustainable development, building on your strengths and your youth and your talent. And this is what the Business Roundtable is hopefully going to enable us to structure by looking at investing in AI, health, the blue economy, and sustainable agriculture. So what we need to do is look at the partnership that we want together through a logic of investment. And this is where we see this agenda of prosperity and sovereignty altogether. Getting Africa forward on the economic level means greater sovereignty and autonomy. It's important for Europeans as well to have more strategic autonomy in its partnerships. We need to ensure that we do not become dependent on the two major powers who in some ways look like they're going to eclipse everything. And it's not just France and Europe today who are going to mobilize all of the critical minerals or rare earths that we're going to need for the future. It's neither France nor Europe that will be here giving you diktats on the way forward. No, those days are way behind us. No, the European agenda has every interest in seeing you march strongly towards sovereignty and autonomy because they're the same goals that we have. And if you are successful in this hunt for sovereignty, be it with agriculture, with economy, or wherever, then you are also offering more solutions to us. So your success is our success. So when you invest in your populations and have them succeed, that means fewer people fleeing poverty. And so this again is our success and your success hand in hand. So here what I want is for all of us to take a leap together. This is not an agenda which is univocal, which is top-down from Europe to Africa. No way. It is an equal footing partnership built on mutual respect. And we're going to build this together with respect, lucidity, and courage. And that is why, if we're going to be successful in this, we need business leaders, and that's what we announced yesterday. And this is a big first. 23 billion euros of investment in the private sector. These are for industry, for firms in the fully private sector companies in Africa. These 23 billion euros of investment is 14 billion for French firms in Africa, 9 billion in investments for African businesses on our continent. On your continent. And so this, we're hoping, will be the jolt that we need to inject more momentum into the process. All of this is going to, as President Ruto said, be based on quite simple things. A new partnership, a new vision for managing resources, for sustainable agriculture, for having tax and financial policies that are more consistent. It's also going to mean that we can mobilize international funding better, be it the World Bank, be it with the IMF and with other international, with special drawing rights, with all kinds of mechanisms and debt restructuring that can move us all forward. So it's a true strategy for guaranteeing peace, and that is why the ITD here in Nairobi is so important. We're going to be able to work with you, with the ATD, so as to move forward so that ATD can play its full role continent-wide and in this way prove successful. This strategy is a whole new paradigm shift, and it's going to require a new financial paradigm shift. And this is all part of our shared strategy. Other than that, I would say President Ruto said what I wanted to say, that I think this summit embodies our new partnership, and I think he said it better than I ever could, so I want to endorse what he said. In a moment's time, we will be meeting with business leaders, and we'll be discussing growth, we'll be discussing finance and investments, and then after that, we're going to have the outcome of this Africa Forward Summit with the declarations of those investments, and then together with President Ruto, we're going to bring to the G7 in Evian, on behalf of all of you, the message from this forum, and then throughout the year, at the IMF, World Bank, at the UN, we are going to showcase and push this shared agenda. And that is why this summit, in my opinion, is going to enable us to jointly set forward our upcoming path. So I don't want to take up any more of your time, dear ladies and gentlemen, but I just wanted to extend my thanks to President Ruto for agreeing to host this outstanding summit here in Nairobi. And I'm delighted to be here with you, with my brothers and sisters from all around Africa. And I'm looking forward to working on all of the input that we can pool your strengths, your energy, so that we have a new African-French partnership. This agenda for peace and prosperity is something that I truly aspire to. And it's something that, with a lot of respect and humility, that I want to put at the service of this continent, the world's youngest continent. And even last year, we saw had the strongest rate of growth from around the world. So it's not only the continent of the future, it's already a power and a strength in the world today. And I am proud to be standing at your side and to try humbly to build with you this agenda in which we will be investing heavily. We want to work with you. Long live friendship between Africa and France. Thank you.